So before we get started with the whole video, I'd like to make some corrections to a few statements that I made in my past video. In the previous video, I mentioned a game called Lovesick that was developed by Dr. Apis. This game recently had its name changed to Love Letter to further itself from the actual Yandere simulator and appear as its own standalone title by the developers. The second correction I'd like to make is a screenshot that I included in my previous video where I critiqued YandereDev. This screenshot was actually a screenshot related to another developer called YandereDev, a developer for another game called Watashi no Mono. While this was a different developer, one different from the one that made Love Letter, they still had their hard-earned work shut down by YandereDev. I apologize for these small inconsistencies, and I highly recommend that everyone still goes out of their way and lends a supportive hand to everyone involved in this terrible situation. These developers and creators could really use your support. Speaking of creators, however, it appears that the Game Sleuth has made an apology video to YandereDev, which is fine on his stance, but in my strongest opinion, I think he shouldn't have to apologize for trying to call out a developer's negative behaviors against his community, and I believe that the Game Sleuth still stands as a victim in this situation, just like before. As always, I'd really appreciate it if everyone went to the Game Sleuth's channel below as well and provided as much support as possible to his situation. Without further ado, let's get on with the full video. Alright, what's going on, guys and gals? It's me, JT, and we are back today with another video. And if you guys and gals did not know, we got a lot of love and support on my previous video. My previous video was made to call out YandereDev for all the malicious things that he's done to these fellow creators and these content creators on the platform that have been making videos against him. I know we got a lot of love from that video, but we also got a lot of negative comments that I really wanted to bring up. I wanted to use this video to make sure that I correct a lot of errors that were in my previous video and to look at these new negative comments and sort of discuss them, open opinions with this, because there was a lot of interesting things that people had to say, and while a lot of the reviews were positive, and I appreciate you guys and gals for that, I wanted to see some of the negative comments, post them here and discuss them. With that being said though, I wanted to make this known before I got on with the full point that I don't want anyone going around bashing these comments if you see them on the previous video. I have blurred out the name and the profile pictures, and I have hidden the ability to see these people in the best ways possible, because I don't believe in going after people and attacking them. I just wanted to open these comments up, and I really wanted to think about it and, sort of throw my opinion out there, because the YandereDev situation is something that is very serious. And I think that we all noticed that when we watched the first video. And I think a lot of people need to be informed of what this developer is doing, because he is hurting communities. But without further ado, let's get into the first comment, shall we? So we've got a first comment here, and it says, this is your opinion. We all have opinions. You can't stop people to support YandereDev. Like, hey, you, yes, you, stop supporting YandereDev. Well, like you have an opinion, I have an opinion as well. The difference between you and me is I decided to share it verbally on a video and to thousands and thousands of people. I'm not trying to force people to stop doing Yandere Simulator and stop playing the game. I'm not really trying to make a big force on stopping people from supporting the game. I know the video was titled Stop Supporting YandereDev, but the video at the end of the day was filled with a lot of opinions and a lot of critiqued facts from well-known sources that YandereDev has actually done to help brighten the minds of those that support this man current. I'm all about throwing out opinions out there and letting people think for themselves on whether they want to or want to not support this guy. So I just wanted to throw that out there, because at the end of the day, I'm not trying to shut down any of his services. I'm not trying to, kill his fan base. I just want the fan bases to know, like, hey, this guy's doing some messed up stuff. When you're living in YandereDev's server and his Discord server, you can't really have a free opinion, and that is very dictating like, he's shutting down anybody that's creating facts. He's shutting down any discussions that start negativity. So that's something I don't agree with, and I think that other platforms exist so that we can discuss things like that outside of his server, so that people can have a mindset to brightly think about situations like this. Alright, so the next comment here, it says, don't worry, I'll keep doing it. You. I guess we know who didn't watch the video, huh? This comment right here is something that I agree with, but something I also don't agree with. I think they were trying to make a good point, but I sort of want to read this to you. Let me read it for you. It says, we shouldn't even be canceling this guy. Just leave this guy alone. Don't develop any more fan games. Don't give him any more support. Don't give him the light of day. We should just forget about this guy already. It's been 6 years since he started development and most of his assets are literally not his own. Just let him deal with his own failures and know that his pettiness will drive him to being more alone. That's what he deserves. Now, while I agree with the final half of this statement, I don't agree with the first half, and I'll tell you why. If we leave YandereDev alone, he's still going to have a big community that still supports his content despite everything negative that he's doing to our fellow creators and fellow developers. And I just don't think that's okay. People are calling this cancel culture, and I think that this is definitely a form of cancel culture against him. Not against his community, not against his game, but specifically against him. If we sit back and we let YandereDev sit in his chair and make updates every 2 years of 1 or 2 little specific things to his game, he's still going to garnish a lot of support and he's not going to learn from it. He's still going to go out and he's going to attack these creators, he's going to take down their videos, and he is just going to overall just try to rule the YouTube space and any other space that is trying to critique him. He needs to learn from this experience. He needs to learn that his actions are not okay, and I think we can see that an accurate representation of him learning is happening right now. He's going out of his way to stop all of these people from saying the words. He's going out of his way to insta-ban people from his Discord server and set up restrictions that are just so stupid that would limit his community if he did so every single time. He's learning that his actions have consequences, and I think that that's a big important thing, especially for a developer who's developing a game with a big fan base. So I think we need to keep going at him. We need to keep letting it be known that he is a malicious person, because that's the only way he'll learn. If we sit back and let him do it, he's just going to collect money and keep goofing off and not actually develop the game or not actually treat other creators with respect. And the next comment here says, oh, come on, imagine this situation, all right? There is an upcoming test tomorrow, a really hard test, and you studied so hard just to pass that test. When the day arrived, your seatmate copied all of your answers and both of you passed the test. How would you feel? Me, I'll be angry because of course you worked hard for studying for that test. Just like in the situation with YandereDev, he spent years perfecting that game, and Dr. Apis just made a better version of Yandere Simulator in a couple of weeks. Show some people in respect. Okay, so I noticed a lot of contradictions in this comment that really mess up the claims that you're trying to make, so I sort of wanted to put this in a brighter light so that you would understand it, all right? So you tried to put me in the shoes of YandereDev, a student studying super hard for a test in this situation, right? So you said that if YandereDev studied this hard for this, it was supposed to be an indicator that he was working hard on the game, right? Well, if you apply this logic to the real situation that's actually going on, then he wouldn't feel so angry because there wouldn't be people trying to copy his game and make it better than his. And if you really think about it, my last video really aimed at his malicious attempts to shut down and literally delete other creators' hard-earned products and channels. Yet I see nothing here in this comment about that, which leads to the assumption that most fans are only focused on the developers of the games and not his actions. And here's one last thing about the whole copying part, alright? The developers of Love Letter have stated that they're trying to make Love Letter far more different than Yandere Simulator. The name change from Lovesick to Love Letter indicates one of these big many changes. Even if they were copying off of Yandere Simulator, they're still building a game in their own unique ways, and that's generally how game development works, and it's the only reason why we have so many hit games. Same idea, new iterations. So that's something I sort of wanted to throw out there, and hopefully you're thinking a little bit about that now, because I can understand your claim here, but there's just a lot of invalid things in there that you haven't touched up on. This next comment here is a little bit difficult, so bear with me, all right? It says, "Stop supporting YandereDev, he's so bad. Yeet's middle finger out." Shut the f up about YandereDev. I know y'all be hating him, but can't we just shut up and not talk to each other for a year and stay safe from the virus, then address the problem later? This is why I hate humanity. So many protests. It's like an online war going on right outside. What the f, people? Why now? Why not later? Why no earlier? What the fuck?
It's the war. War never changes.
Why we're doing this now is because we've had this happening over time. There's been a lot of things happening with YandereDev, but this is the peak amount of hate that he's getting. This is the peak amount of nonsense that he is bringing to all these other channels and all these other creators. We've been speaking about this for multitudes of times, but this just seems to be the time where his anger and his backlash from fans blows up. You know, we can't help that, but we have to call it out for it is right now, because if we keep letting it get this big, it's going to get bigger, and he's going to go out and destroy other people's content. even more. So I hope you understand that. At least I think you just need to take a break and sit down for a while. We got another comment here. It says, this game costs more than you. Hey, yo, how much does YandereDev cost again? Let me go look it up. How much does YandereDev cost right here? After the second rival has been implemented, but before the final release date of the game, Yandere Simulator will be sold for a very cheap price, probably something along the lines of $5. Alright, well that's going to be the end of commenting on these negative comments about the whole situation. Again guys, like, don't go out and attack these people. They're going to be collecting their own opinions. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions. Myself, yourself, you know, all these people here. And I'm not expecting anyone to change their opinions over this, but I wanted to make this video to openly discuss this. You know, I wanted to discuss this with you guys and gals because this is a serious situation. We have a developer out here abusing power, doing illegal things like false DMCA strikes, and it's not okay. And if you think about the development of the game itself, there are a lot of negatives there as well. So I sort of just wanted to end it off with that statement. And well, yeah, again, I want to show a lot of support to all the developers involved. This includes the Gaming Sleuth and everyone working on Love Letter, and even including the developers that I introduced in the beginning of the video as well. So make sure to go into the comment section and the description to check out these developers and give them some love. You know, we all need a little bit of support nowadays, especially the Gaming Sleuth, since he's been attacked so much and his content has just disappeared off of his channel. I want to see a lot more support go out to him because we need to keep talented creators like that in the field so that we can succeed as a community. But thank you guys and gals for watching this video. If you like this video and you want to see more, make sure to hit that like and the subscribe button, and peace out.